We're gonna start the count. Good luck.
What's up, everybody? And today we're talking about Ready or Not. So the sequel has come out. I haven't seen it yet, but I will see it pretty soon. I decided to go back and watch the first one. I remember liking this movie, but for some reason I've never gone back to it. So this is almost like, it kind of felt like my first time watching it. So if you haven't seen or heard this movie, basically the idea is that this girl marries into this rich family. The family is kind of known for, they make games. So like card games, board games, like that's their thing. Like Hasbro, Mattel, that's like their bread and butter. And so on the wedding day is tradition on midnight for the new family member to play a game. So they draw a card and they play that game. Her game happens to be hide and seek. It eventually becomes clear that she's playing for her life. And that is essentially what the movie is about. I'm going to do top level spoiler free thoughts and then we'll get into spoilers later. So if you want spoilers, just skip forward. Just know that I do put scenes. So if you're going spoilers, like we're going spoilers. All right. So spoiler free, top level thoughts. This movie's still good. Off the bat, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It is so close to being an 8, but it has a couple of issues. So the biggest thing that caught me off guard is that this movie is kind of like a dark comedy, but not comedy in the sense of like they're throwing jokes at you type of thing, but it's funny in the way of like, hey, this family does this ritual, but they don't do it enough for it to kind of be almost like a thing that they do all the time. So it is the feeling of, hey, we're gonna do this thing, and what if you gave normal everyday people like weapons to go kill someone else? So you kind of get that sort of shenanigans of like, oh my god, I got a mace in my hand, but I've never, like, how am I supposed to, like, swing this thing around and hit somebody? So that's kind of where the comedy comes in. There's also there's like a running bit throughout the movie that is very dark. So that it kind of threw me off a little bit. It's not bad, because again, it's not trying to be like people saying jokes. The humor is, again, like people that really don't do this having to do this ritual. And there's like a very sense of realism to it all, which is kind of where the comedy comes from, but it kind of works. But I think it kind of works against the movie, where I do wish it was more serious and this family was more of like, yeah, we do this all the time and like you're the next sacrifice or whatever. The other issue I have with this movie is that clearly, even from the beginning of the movie, there are two brothers in this film. The main one that we follow is Alex. We got his older brother, Daniel. Daniel is clearly a more interesting character, and I kind of wish that he was the main brother that we followed. Honestly, I feel like you could have cut out Alex of the movie and kind of did a semi-different movie. And I think the movie even knows that. So again, I think if they would have had this movie be more serious and more focused on the more interesting brother, this movie would have been an 8 out of 10. But again, this movie isn't bad. The biggest thing that caught me off guard, I forgot to look this up before I started recording, is that, so this movie was made clearly before the whole, strong, independent, I don't need a love interest type woman that we have nowadays. And I have nothing against strong women. I grew up, watching media with strong women in it, like Buffy, Terminator, Alien, Xena, Warrior Princess, stuff like that. So this movie almost feels like a commentary on that, but of course this is before all of that, so it's not. But there are moments where the music swells and it feels like, oh, she's gonna be a badass and like no one's gonna help her, she's gonna get her way out of here, and then it will immediately be undercut with some sort of realism, like, oh fuck, I don't know how to use this thing. So I found not only those moments to be funny, but also to be, again, almost like a retroactive commentary on movies that we have now. So I think what's great is like, it feels like you're almost gonna eye roll at this movie, and then the movie's like, no, this isn't that kind of movie. Like, this is a whole situation where really no one knows what they're doing, but they know that she has to escape and they have to kill her, and shenanigans kind of ensues. So yeah, no, this movie's great. There are plenty of dark moments. Again, even though there is humor to all of this, the family is so dysfunctional in every single way. It's great. You get to see how each family member kind of feels about everything that's going on, which is like there's so many varied perspectives on, the ritual and if they have to do it and why they have to do it and yada yada. So yeah, I think this movie's great. And then I turned it on. It's an hour and a half. I was like, hell yeah, we're in and out, and this is fantastic. There is one part of this movie where I remember. I didn't remember exactly how it happened, but there is a part where I was like, ugh, like, one of those gross moments. So if you are squeamish, don't eat while watching this movie. But yeah, so In and Out, movie's good. I will say, again, I think the only thing that might throw you off is sort of the comedy of the movie. But again, the humor is the sense of like, nobody really knows what they're doing. But I think the movie is, pretty straightforward. There is a plot twist at the end of the movie, which I feel like they wanted to do, but they clearly didn't know how to get there, so they just got there and they're like, surprise. I'm like, that doesn't work. But I think the pieces are there to have it work, and they just didn't do it. And I get that they tried to like set it up a little bit in the beginning, but like, again, it just comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, why? But it doesn't take away too much from the movie enough to be like, again, this is a good movie. So if you like, like thriller with a little bit of humor, again, the humor being the realism of the whole situation, I think you should check this movie out. Again, I haven't seen the sequel yet, so I don't know if they, crash the plane or not, but when I get to it, I'll make a video on that. But yeah, you should go check it out. Let me know if you think that is a 7.5. Maybe it's even better in your opinion. Maybe it's worse. Let me know in the comments down below. But I am going to get into spoilers, and again, with spoilers, I also put clips into the video. So full spoilers ahead, everybody. If you're gonna leave, this is your time to leave now. So I want to start off in the beginning. I'm not gonna go beat by beat through the movie because that would be crazy. But one thing that caught me off guard from the beginning of the movie is you see the two brothers as kids, and they're running from something. And something I noticed, and I'm not a film person that would like, the shots and the way that the angles are, that's not me. But you can tell clearly that the cameraman is running behind the kids because you can see like the camera like wobbling. And it made the scene, even though it's like really quick, it's like a 30-second scene, it made the scene feel so much scarier because it feels like the cameraman is also running from them. And it reminds me of The Shining, because there's a moment like that in The Shining where they're running behind the kid and they're like watching right behind his feet as he's running. I was like, sometimes it's the small things in films that make them really stand out. Right off the bat, even like I was saying in the spoiler-free part, it feels like the movie already knew that Daniel was the more interesting brother of the two. So Alex is immediately put in the closet when they're little, and Daniel's out there, and then the husband at the time comes over and he's shot with an arrow, and he's like, help me please, and Daniel's like, he's over here. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's the brother from later in the movie, right? And he's gonna be the husband. Nope, it's Alex. And Alex is the one who's like, all right, my family's crazy, but we have to do this, so let me let's get married. You meet my family, we're gonna dip after all the shenanigans, and then we'll never see them again. And it's like, all right, cool. He's not the most interesting brother, but I get that. I think what's interesting about Alex is that he knows all the shenanigans, the fact that they have to do this ritual, that they believe in this Mr. Lebal, and all of this, and he's just like I'm not down with any of this. Let's do this thing, and then we're out. Now, what I found really interesting about the movie is that they had answers for all the questions, because I was like, why the hell would you bring your wife here if you know that she might be a sacrifice? And then we got to that part in the movie, and she's like, you knew your family does this. Like, why the hell would you bring me here? And he's like, listen, I can't explain it. Every other family member that hasn't done the thing has died.
It happened to my great uncle. He got married. He didn't play a game. Next morning, he died. His wife, too. Same thing happened to my cousin Rachel. The same thing happened to a bunch of people that I never even met before. You have to play.
So he's like, I had to bring you here. And I was like, I like that, because from his perspective, he's like, I seen too many bodies drop. So I know we gotta play this stupid game at the end of the night, or else like there's no point. We'll be dead by tomorrow. And I was like, okay, cool. I like Alex. I like that he's not about it. I like that he understands, like, hey, there's something that we have to do, because something will come for us. I can't explain it. I don't have the answers, but this is what I do know. Now, going back a little bit, she is meeting the family, and we come to find out that she is been through the foster care system. And I found this really interesting because, again, haven't seen the sequel, but a whole part of the trailer for the second one is that she thinks she's out, but it turns out there's just one family and a group of all these rich families that have to, do this ritual, and they capture her again. They're like, we're going to run it again, and we got your sister this time. And I'm like, so when I was watching this, and they're like, oh, she's like, yeah, I'm looking for a permanent family. I never had a permanent family. I'm like, I wonder how they're going to put that into the second one, or if they're just going to pretend like someone like me didn't watch the first one. So I'm a little worried about that going into the future. I just wanted to bring that up because I was like, I mean, granted, they could just easily kind of write that out, but I don't know. We'll see. Moving along. This is where we get to that first part, right, of I know her as Winona Earp because she was on that show for like 5 seasons. But, the kind of messed up sister, always doing drugs, always on something with her shitty husband, accidentally kills the servant. And I was like, oh, fuck. And especially because, she's like on the floor, like gurgling for whatever life she has left. It's like, oh, this is dark. But they're like, oh, man, she's my favorite. Let's go. Like, all right, you grab the head, I'll grab the legs. And it's crazy that this was I'm going to be all over the place. But it's crazy how this is like the running bit is like they just keep killing the servants. And I was surprised by the third one because I thought she was doing a bit where she's going to be like, oh, like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't sign up for any of this, yada, yada, yada. And then she's going to be like, she's over here. But for her to... well, I mean, she does do that, but I thought she was going to do it on some sneaky shit. But for her to be, like, crushed in the little dumbwaiter. I also was expecting her to get like chopped in half, so I was surprised where it just kind of like stopped like halfway and then she just died. I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty tame. But the running bit of like, oh, that one was my favorite. Oh, we gotta we gotta get another servant. The second one that got like an arrow in the mouth and then she was like gurgling on the floor and it's like, shut up, and like chops off her head. Crazy. So that's what I mean is like what I was talking about in the spoiler free part. If you skip that, like this, it's crazy that this movie, which I thought was going to be straight thriller, had like these moments of like comedy, I guess, dark humor, especially with like the fact that the family clearly didn't know what they were doing. Like they know that they have to do the ritual, but none of them know how to use any of the weapons. You would think they'd be like trained or like, okay, I've been training for the bow and arrow. This is what I'm going to use. All of them are so like above it. The homeboy's in the bathroom watching a video like, hey, this is how to use your crossbow the right way. And then you got the rich wife who's like, I got her, and then she shoots and it's like, and she's like, what the like I wasn't even in the area of where she was. The mom at the end, I think, or towards the end, she like shoots the arrow and she's like, I'm a little rusty with this, and just like, I'm just gonna choke you out. So all good stuff. But again, I was surprised by like the dark humor of it all. But going back to what I was originally saying, of the first servant dies, right? Alex gets his wife, I don't know why I'm blanking on her name, I just watched a movie last night, and was it Kate? And they're in the servant hallways and she's like obviously freaking out. She's like, what the fuck? I thought this was like a friendly game of hide and seek, and now I'm about to die because of your crazy ass family. And he's like, listen, I gotta go to security, I gotta shut everything down so we can get you out of here. We'll get to the car and then we'll put this all behind us. All right, we've played the game enough. Mr. Laval should be good. All you gotta do is go here and wait till I open the door. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. And so you get the moment of her. She rips off the bottom of her dress. Music is swelling, and I'm like, oh, we're about to do like the female thing, but. That's what I was talking about earlier, of like, I love that this movie feels almost like a commentary on the whole wave we have now of, strong female characters that don't need no man. Of like, it felt like we were gonna do that, and then she gets to the two doors, and it's like, and then we do that again where she's like, like, fuck this, and she like grabs the old shotgun off the wall, grabs the bandolier with all the bullets on it, and then as she's about to like go out, she goes and looks at herself in the mirror, and she's just like, fuck, like what are we doing here? And then you get the scene like later where she's like trapped in the kitchen with the butler, and she is like, she like tries to use the thing, and she's like, oh shit, it's not even loaded, and then she has to like load it in secret, and then she goes to shoot it, and nothing happens, and he's like, sorry, the bullets are just for show, and then they have to fight each other. And that's what I mean, is like there are so many moments where if this was made nowadays, which is why I'm a little scared for the sequel, if this was made nowadays, it would be like, oh, she's a strong woman, she fights her way out, she doesn't need nobody. I'm interested, there's a movie that came out, and I can't think of the name right off the top of my head, and I'm recording with my phone so I can't even look it up, with Zazie Beetz, that looks exactly like this, but like, what if she was a black woman instead? So I'm curious on if that movie is more annoying in the way of like, she's a strong woman that don't need nobody. So that'll be interesting to see if they made the right moves with that film. But yeah, I really enjoyed that this was not that type of movie, and the fact that like this is made a while ago, and so it's funny how this movie feels like a commentary on today's films, even though that's clearly not the intention. It's not like they can see into the future. So yeah, I enjoyed that. The part that I remember was, I was like, oh, I remember something getting stuck inside of her, like she steps on a nail or something. I didn't remember that the little kid shoots a hole through her hand, and that she had to like walk up the ladder, and the only way that she actually made it out was because she put her hand and then the nail went through her hand. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So rough. Also her falling into like the dead goat pit with the body that was still down there. It's like, I can only imagine what it smells like in there. Especially because it's in with also like a pen with a bunch of goats. Like it just, it must reek. This movie's good. It's good. Going back to the brothers, Daniel clearly was the most interesting of them, because he was the brother that clearly kept going along with this, and he even says that part, like, I'm just the brother that didn't make it out, like I couldn't make it out of here. And eventually at the end, he poisons the family just as they're about to sacrifice her for the first time, and he's like, we gotta get you out of here. And the was it the sis? No, it's his wife. His wife shoots him, and he ends up, laying there dying. And she's like, oh no, Daniel, no, like, And then eventually Alex comes out, and he finds his dead brother. And then this is where we get that twist of like, now he's on their side, and he's like gonna sacrifice Kate. I think her name's Kate, his wife.
She's in here!
Because, and I think what the movie was trying to say, because there was this part earlier in the movie where the aunt was talking to, the dad, her brother, and saying like, oh, Alex is the only one to actually see Mr. LaBelle. He might be the chosen one next to lead this family, and it's kind of your time to step down, yada yada. And I get that they were trying to set that up, and then with the death of his brother, I assumed what happened was he kept saying like, oh, I gotta get her out of here, I love her more than all of you. Like, I think he tells his mom like, I'll kill you if I have to, just to save her, yada yada. So I think what the movie was trying to set up was when he saw his brother die and he went to Kate, he realized like, oh, this is real, it really is like my family or her. And he decides in that moment it is her. It doesn't work for me. I don't think it was set up at all. It just kind of happens, so it makes it feel like, oh, we want this twist, but we don't know how to do it. And I feel like the easiest version to do that would be to have, when the wife kills Daniel, right? He's there laying on the floor bleeding out. I would have had, I forget how the wife gets, the like rich wife gets taken out, but she gets taken out, whatever. I would have had, I think Kate grabs the gun or something and shoots her. Point is, I would have had, I'm gonna keep calling her Kate, I can't remember her name is. I would have had Kate over Daniel as he's bleeding out, like, no, like, don't go, with a gun next to her because she grabbed it from the rich wife. I would have had Alex come down and see, like, oh, you killed my brother. And then she would be like, no, like, you don't understand, like, this isn't what it looks like. And then I would have had him snap and be like, I can't let you go. Like, I thought I could have my family, I thought I could choose you over my family, but, like, this would be too far for him to see from his perspective, to see that his new wife or his wife shot his brother would just, like, kind of get him to snap and then attack her, and then the rest of the family would show up, and then they could, like, be like, all right, let's sacrifice her. I think that would have been better, as opposed to him just being like, yeah, now we're just gonna sacrifice you, because it was like, what the. But again, going back to the comedy of this movie, which leads into the ending, I loved that, again, none of them really knew what to do with their weapons. The dad kept freaking out, the mom kept being like, yo, chill out, okay? The aunt being so gung-ho about the ritual and, like, keeping to the rules. And I don't know if it was the actress's eyes, so I apologize in advance, or if they did it just for the movie, but her eyes look like they only have one color, so they're just, like, all black. And I was like, this lady looks demonic. It's crazy how that she was the wife from the beginning of the movie, and she was like, yeah, I had to, like, kind of rationalize, even though I loved him, like, no, we have to do this for the family. It's all about the family, and keeping Mr. LaValle happy. And, you know, you get the shitty sister and her shitty husband who's just like, they sucked. And I found it so interesting when, you know, she has that moment with her brother Daniel, and she's just like, you know, do my kids deserve to die if we don't make this sacrifice? And it makes you feel like, and then they find Georgie, I think that's his name, and, you know, when Kate knocked him out, and they're like, what are you doing here? And he was like, oh, I shot the lady. And Daniel's like, why would you do that? And he's like, well, all of you are doing it, so. And you see Daniel just have this look on the face of, like, we fuck these kids, like, these kids are screwed. Like, they're, like, even though they're kids, like, because this is this family, you know, they're just gonna end up bad like the rest of us. You know, this leads into the end where they're gonna sacrifice Kate for a second time, and she moves out the way at the last second, and so the knife misses. It's too late. It's dawn. The sun comes out. The aunt goes over. She opens the door. She's like, no. And then, you know, all of them, like, high and take cover, like, And it's great because nothing happens at first. And it leads back into the shitty husband being like, is this, like, our... He's, like, on the phone, like, our, you know, demonic rituals, like, even real? And so you have this moment where, like, nothing happens at all. And then everyone starts exploding. And it's like, oh, fuck. And then I was surprised that... I mean, granted, they did it off screen. But I was surprised that, like, they killed the kids, too. I was like, oh, shit. And I was so glad that, like, Daniel was able to die before this. Because I feel like him bleeding out on the floor is somehow nicer. And it just feels so bad for him. He should have been the main dude. Because fuck Alex, especially him at the end where he's like, please baby, like, don't go. I didn't mean to almost sacrifice you. It's crazy. Like, you know, can't we just put it underneath the rug or whatever? Look, he didn't take me. And then he explodes anyways. It's just like, fuck you, dude. Like, what the hell? And again, because the twist came out of nowhere, it's like, no, definitely fuck this guy. Like, he turned evil for no reason. For the memes? Like, what are we doing? And so, yeah, we, you know, everything is on fire now. They all exploded. It's crazy that she, like, looks at the chair and she sees, like...
Fuck.
And I like that she just goes and sits down, bloody, injured, tired. Other words that, you know, relate to this scene. Just lights up a cigarette. The police finally show up, and you know, they're just like, oh, like what's going on? She's just like, in-laws, man. Because what else? I don't know. But shout out to the main actress. I'm forgetting her first name. Shout out to the main actress. God, the amount of times that she screamed in this movie, I'm like, and I can't even imagine how many takes they had to do. And the way that she screams too is just like, almost kind of like, and I'm not to be rude, but it sounds like an animal. So it's kind of like, but the way that she emotes her face is like, you could see like she's so many times that she's like breaking. Like her character's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm asking you for help from this car is passing by. He's like, move out the street, bitch. You know, she like calls you know, AAA or whatever it's called. She's like, please, they're trying to kill me. And they're like, oh, sorry, this car has been reported stolen. And she's like, are you fucking like, they're trying to kill me, are you serious? And he's like, just stay there, the police are on the way, but we're gonna turn off the car though. And she's like, fuck you. You know, the moment at the end where she is able to get up from the table and she like grabs the knife and she's like, you know, but she's screaming like, get the but well, her vibe is like, get the fuck away from me, but she's just like screaming that. You know, like an animal backed against the corner. Like, shout out to her, she's so great. Clearly makes sense why she's the main character. And so yeah, we just end the movie with her just there, defeated. And apparently the second movie just picks up right there and she's back into the thick of it. Again, with a sister that wasn't set up in this movie because she's supposed to be like an orphan almost. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm a little nervous, but I mean, we'll see if that movie is able to live up to this one. I don't know. I'm scared. But that is what I think of this movie. This movie is so good. Again, I think it's a 7.5 out of 10. It is so close to being an 8. I think that this movie should have been a little more serious and that Daniel should have been the main brother who just couldn't have gotten out. And I really don't think we need Alex. And yeah, I do recommend this movie. Again, if you're watching this part, you probably already seen it. So let me know if you recommend this movie, what you think about this movie. No spoilers, but if you've seen the second one, let me know if it is better or not. Again, no spoilers for the sequel. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.